المؤتمر الصحفي للأمين العام للأمم المتحدة من أوساكا اليابانية. إلى هناك.
Consequences and more frequent, and we are seeing glaciers melting, corals bleaching, the Arctic with the lowest levels ever in relation to the covered part by ice. We see the melting in Greenland and in Antarctica extremely worrying, and so all the analyses that can be made show the situation in practical terms is worse than what we could have forecasted, and the political will has been fading. And this is a paradox that needs to be addressed. Now, I believe in science. I believe in what has been considered by the IPCC report the most valid scientific position today, which is that we need to make sure that we do not reach more than 1.5 degrees Celsius of global warming at the end of the century. And for that we need to be carbon neutral in 2050, and we need to have a much more ambitious expression by governments and other actors of their commitments when the national determined contributions will be reviewed in 2020. And that is the reason why I'm convening a climate summit in New York in September, and that is the reason why I'll be appealing to the leaders here in relation to a much stronger commitment of their countries for climate action. And there are many aspects that are absolutely essential on these, putting a price on carbon, ending subsidies to fossil fuels, not accepting the idea that we still have an acceleration of the construction of coal power plants, and many other aspects that are extremely relevant in order to make sure that we are able to abide by what the scientific community is telling us is absolutely essential to rescue the planet. And then, in relation to the Agenda 2030, it is clear that we are lagging behind. If we project the different sustainable development goals, the evolution since the beginning until now to 2030, we will be more or less at midway of what the international community has determined when the Agenda 2030 was approved. Which means we need to accelerate. We accelerate the mobilization of resources, national resources. Countries need to do more, mobilizing their own internal resources, improving their governance, reducing corruption, implementing the rule of law. At the same time, we need to do more in mobilizing the private sector. Without the private sector, it will be impossible to achieve these goals, and a lot needs to be done in order to raise awareness and to show the opportunities that exist and to create mechanisms to reduce risks. At the same time, we need to do more in international solidarity, because indeed we are lagging behind and we need to accelerate, and this will be again one of the objectives of the summits that we will convene in September together with the Climate Summit, both about the Sustainable Development Goals and about the aspects related to the high-level political forum among member states and about the financing for development. And so an appeal for a much stronger commitment of the members of the G20 that represent 80% of the emissions in climate change, and that represent a very important area of international financial and economic cooperation, an appeal for a much stronger engagement, for an enhanced commitment in order to be able to avoid the present situation in which climate change is running faster than what we are, and we are lagging behind in the implementation of the Agenda 2030.
Thank you very much. We have time for a few questions. The hand in the back.
Hi, I'm Takagi from Kyodo News, Japan's news agency. Thank you for this opportunity. This afternoon, the presidents of the United States and Russia are supposed to meet here in Osaka, I guess. And
United States and?
Here, President of the Russia and President of the United States will meet. And I guess they will discuss non-proliferation and nuclear disarmament issues. And because of their confrontation, the INF Treaty was suspended, and the New START nuclear arms treaty is also at risk. So what is your messages for two nuclear weapon states and your views on NPT review conference, which will be held in New York next year? And secondly, Japan is the only country to have come under nuclear attack in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, as you know. So what would you expect from Japan to do on this issue?
I was in Nagasaki, as you know, in the Memorial Day of the atomic bomb that fell in Nagasaki, and this is a matter of great concern to me. There was important progress during the Cold War in order to establish some mechanisms of disarmament and some mechanisms of control. And unfortunately, we are witnessing the possibility of those mechanisms being dismantled without anything.